Welcome back to the Senior Living Show. I'm Vicki Rogers. Our guest is once again Scott Neal, who is the president of D. Scott Neal Incorporated and founder of Caregiver Circle. Welcome back.
Thank you, Vicki.
Now, today we're going to be talking about avoiding crisis. Nobody likes a crisis, and it seems like that when a caregiver becomes a caregiver, it's either a surprise, it's thrust upon them, they're not ready for it. How can we plan for those things?
Yeah, well, those are the two ways that most people enter the caregiving arena, and that is that they either plan for it and are ready for it, or they enter in some sort of crisis. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, that most decisions made in crisis are at least suboptimal, if not downright bad. So we can't eliminate all the crises in our lives, but we can plan for many of those that are predictable, and we can minimize them. I got a call at 11 o'clock one night, and my cousin was on the phone, and he said, "You've got to get here now." And I knew that he was 100 miles away. And I said, "Exactly where are you?" And he said, "I'm on your front porch, or your mom's front porch, with your mom." And I knew then that things were going according to plan. What had happened was my dad had Alzheimer's disease, and my mother was his caregiver, and my dad, a very docile fellow, was dozing in his chair, woke up and discovered my mother standing there and knocked her down, thinking that she was a burglar in the house. She took her cell phone, ran out on the porch, locked the door behind her, and was out on the porch with my cousin, and he had called me. And he, of course, was in a bit of a panic because he wasn't read into the plan, and that was on us. We had not properly planned by telling him what he needed to do. And so long story short was that Mom and I had rehearsed that scene several times, and she knew that if she ever felt unsafe with my dad in the house, that was what she was supposed to do. So typically, it's that call that comes in without a plan, that you have to make decisions on the fly, and none of those are ever good decisions.
Well, and of course, everything can't be planned for. So what do you do about that?
That's right. But there are a large number of things that you can plan for in the caregiving role. And most of those are actually quite predictable.
Okay, like what?
Well, we think that the housing question can be really settled well before it's ever needed. Most people do want to age in place at home, but then what happens when you can't age in place at home any longer? Where are you going to go? I just had that conversation with someone today. The question of who will coordinate my health care when I am no longer able to coordinate it myself, and what kind of documents do I need to have in place? How will elder care be funded? That's a question that can really be addressed well ahead of time before there's ever a crisis. And we've already talked about in past segments about the legacy leaving, and all of those kinds of things can be planned for ahead of time. And I'm also a believer that you can plan your final goodbye. And it's tough, but it can be planned for and facilitated in that way.
That's so interesting. Now, I know you deal with these and several other topics in caregivercircle.com. Tell us about that.
Well, caregivercircle.com is a resource that is really a decision support center for families that are boomers, Xers, millennials who are taking care of their aging parent who need to make these decisions. And it's really designed to help them.
All right, and where can they find out more?
Well, come to caregivercircle.com. We talk about things like this.
And we'll be back with more on the Senior Living Show.